A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. These eternal words of American author John C. Maxwell aptly describe the transformation agenda of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, an agenda that clearly defines Nigeria's political, social, and economic path to greatness. Despite desperate political intrigues and maneuverings to downplay the Goodluck Ebele Jonathan roadmap to a better Nigeria, it is obvious that its success stories, and they are many, cannot be emasculated. Those success stories, those milestones, those enduring legacies of the first 4 years of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's administration is what this edition will be highlighting as a constant reminder to Nigerians that he is a man who keeps his promises. It also shows those who are quick to forget, those in denial, and those who are plain mischievous that there are cogent and verifiable records of the successes of President Jonathan's transformation agenda. It's work in progress. As we bid you welcome to this exciting package that highlights and celebrates the great milestones of the Goodluck Ebele Jonathan transformation agenda. Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, PhD. An educated man knows the benefit of quality education to national growth. 12 new federal universities to improve access, Almajiri school system to reduce the menace of miscreants, innovative programs and policies to improve quality of education, all equals exponential growth in school enrollment at all levels. Funding of education has never been better, from 224 billion naira in 2007 to 634 billion naira in 2014. President Jonathan knows that education matters. That's why education transformation is work in progress. Don't stop the wheel. Vote wisely. Vote Jonathan. Vote PDP. President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's assumption of office on May 6, 2010 as Nigeria's 14th president following the demise of his predecessor, President Umaru Yar'Adua, marked the beginning of a new era in Nigeria's national life. President Jonathan, who was vice president in the administration of Umaru Yar'Adua before he assumed office, vowed to tackle the major problems militating against the growth and development of Africa's richest and most populous nation, but one beset by some of the most complex and social, political and economic challenges on the continent. Even though Goodluck Jonathan was vice president, at the time his ailing predecessor was too ill to govern, and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria required him to fill the vacuum by stepping into the office of president. It took months of political wrangling for him to be sworn in. All the while, Nigerians from all walks of life and from every part of the country stood firmly behind him. They even protested on the streets of major cities across the country to protect the sanctity of the Constitution. They did this because Goodluck Jonathan's presidency held a great deal of hope for them. It meant that any Nigerian from any part of the country and of any religion could aspire to be president of the country. This is one of the significant achievements of the Goodluck Jonathan presidency, an achievement which has further cemented the bonds of unity that hold together the complex and diverse nationalities that make up Nigeria by giving everyone a true sense of belonging.
I, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God.
On the completion of the tenure of the Yar'Adua government in 2011, President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan contested for elective office for the first time in his political career when he sought election to the office of the president. Nigerians from all nooks and crannies of the country voted overwhelmingly for him in an election adjudged by local and international observers as the most free, fair and credible in Nigeria's history. He polled about 60% of the votes across the country, defeating former military head of state General Muhammadu Buhari and former boss of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC), Nuhu Ribadu. In less than 1 year between the demise of his predecessor and the 2011 polls, President Goodluck Jonathan had proved to Nigerians that though his name is Goodluck, luck was certainly not what he rode on to get the overwhelming approval of Nigerians. President Jonathan had a clear and precise agenda to remake the country.
Fellow citizens, the leadership we are blessed is decidedly transformative. The transformation will be achieved in all the critical sectors by harnessing the creative energies of our people, men and women. We must grow the economy, create jobs, and generate enduring happiness for our people. I have great confidence in the ability of Nigerians to transform this country. The urgent task of my administration is to provide a suitable environment to productive activities to flourish. I therefore call on the good people of Nigeria to enlist as agents of this great transformation.
President Goodluck Jonathan understood that the only premise upon which a politically, socially and economically developed Nigeria could be built was free, credible and acceptable elections. He immediately took electoral reforms as a priority in his administration's transformation agenda. He evolved an electoral system that is manned by qualified, competent and efficient personnel, enacted electoral laws and guidelines that are beyond manipulation, and conducted elections that are free, fair and credible. The effect of all these is that the hope of Nigerians that they can now elect leaders of their choice was gradually but surely being rekindled and their confidence in the nation's electoral system rebuilt. Apart from this, President Jonathan walked his talk by embarking on a one-man, one-vote campaign, assuring politicians, including those in his own party, the People's Democratic Party (PDP), that electoral practices that subvert the will of the people will no longer be tolerated.
As we move into an election year, desperate moves to overheat the polity are becoming a regular occurrence. Our political leaders, in particular, must know that the contest for power should not translate to the destruction of the polity. The contest for the leadership of our country must yield good governance and not ungovernable spaces. The love of country will rank higher than our individual ambitions.
President Jonathan also put election troublemakers in check through the provision of watertight security to protect the people and the electoral process. Today, it is common knowledge that opposition political parties have benefited more from the Jonathan administration's electoral reform and the protection of the sanctity of the people's will. For the first time in Nigeria's political history, President Jonathan has consistently been the first to congratulate winners of electoral contests, even if his ruling PDP is defeated in such contests. This is the hallmark of a true democrat. $1.3 trillion naira per annum wasted on food importation before the Jonathan Agric transformation, from rustic farming to mechanized agriculture, from corruption-ridden fertilizer distribution to improved and timely access, from wanton wastage of food produce to innovative marketing reforms, commodity exchange and storage infrastructure. From food insufficiency, Nigeria is set to become a major food exporter. Youths now embrace agriculture. Food imports slashed to less than 700 billion. The transformation is unprecedented. Jonathan is work in progress. Don't stop the wheel. Vote wisely. Apart from his far-reaching political reforms, President Jonathan has also articulated economic policies aimed at reviving the country's infrastructure, diversifying the economy from oil, and generally creating a vibrant economy. The goal of the president is to make Nigeria a global economic power using the 2012 to 2015 medium-term fiscal framework and medium-term expenditure framework as the cornerstone.
There are two key things that are central to any government all over the world. Two key things. Others are just branches of two trees. One is the economy of the country. For you to move your country from any level upward, we are talking about Vision 2020, is the economy. To move a country from third world to first world, like has been done in other countries, is the economy. That is central.
The economic blueprint also recommends prudent management of the nation's wealth to free up more funds for infrastructural projects and other developmental purposes. The aim was to focus a large portion of spending on key sectors like security, infrastructure, power, agriculture, manufacturing, housing and construction, the creative industry, education, health and ICT, which are capable of having immediate impact on the lives of the average Nigerian.
We have to grow the economy. That's why growth is important. So this economy is growing at 6.5%. It is one of the 10 fastest growing economies in the world, and we will not neglect it. And I will show you how that is now factoring into actual change in the real sectors. And it's estimated to grow about 6.75% next year by the National Bureau of Statistics. Actually, other agencies like the IMF are projecting faster growth for us, like 7%, but we want to be a little more prudent. We grew at 6.54% last quarter. And the important thing to know about this growth that Nigerians should know, that should give us a bit of comfort, is that the growth is coming not from the oil sector, but from non-oil. Isn't that what we want? This president has said we must transform the Nigerian economy from dependence on one product to dependence on a diversity of sectors, which we have. And do you know that that's what is happening? The growth driving this economy comes from agriculture, housing, construction, solid minerals, the creative industries, telecommunications. All those are what? Non-oil.
When we compare other policy in terms of where we are in 2011 we did not have the auto policy. Now we do. The number of auto manufacturers in 2011 were 4. Today, 22. The number of investment that went to the auto sector in 10 years was $62 million. In less than 1 year, we've attracted more than 150 million, and there's about 300 million coming in 2016. The number of automotive test laboratories was nil in 2011. Today, we have 3. The number of universities offering automotive engineering was nil in 2011. Today, we have 4 of them. And of course, we have trained our women mechanics.
After decades of seemingly intractable challenges in the power sector, Nigeria is finally on the track to resolving the age-long power sector crisis permanently. The Jonathan administration launched the Power Sector Reform Roadmap and invested huge resources in the project. Also, as part of measures to achieve sustainable industrial growth, the government had put in place certain measures to attract foreign investors into the power sector. Notable development in this regard was the establishment of the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC to enhance smooth operations between the various independent power producers and distribution companies. In its bid to make the sector attractive to private investment, the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, also introduced a new electricity tariff regime.
That one is called high voltage dedicated transformer consumer. That means because of the nature of the operation, they are taking power from the high voltage or low voltage maximum demand. So the more you have those dedicated lines, the more likely you have more reliability, because until we're able to increase capacity, which we are working very hard, we expect there will be unreliability in many places. Some people are going to have weaker power, some stronger power. But our job is to keep on pushing the discourse to improve the network.
Government has already done so much, and many of these are beginning to show in the delivery of power. We have had essentially very good power supply in many parts of Nigeria. Government has prepared by engaging development partners, World Bank, African Development Bank, Fresh Development Bank, some of the country's Exim banks have put in place resources worth more than $4 billion to strengthen the transmission infrastructure. In the next couple of years, there's going to be a heavy or huge differential from what we know today. And we will be able to will out all this power that is envisaged, and that will be generated eventually.
The result of these far-reaching reforms may not be obvious just yet, but any discerning Nigerian knows that the country is well underway to generating and distributing enough power to drive President Jonathan's vision of industrial revolution. Until the Jonathan administration came on board, Nigeria, once dependent on agriculture for her revenue earnings, had degenerated to a level where the country spent well over 3.4 trillion naira per annum on the importation of food. Nigerians had abandoned agriculture, while those still engaged in subsistence farming had to contend with cesspool of corruption in the distribution of fertilizers and improved seedlings. Nigeria was teetering dangerously on the brinks of acute food shortage. The Jonathan administration had to quickly put in place strategies for the transformation from rustic farming to mechanized agriculture, while empowering local farmers to adopt modern and cost-effective technologies. The Ministry of Agriculture had to work towards engendering improved quality and distribution of fertilizers, marketing reforms, innovative financing, and developing commodity exchange, research and development, as well as development of storage infrastructure, all aimed at reclaiming the country's lost glory in food sufficiency.
As you know, agriculture is the key for Africa's future. The size of the agriculture and agribusiness sector in Africa by the year 2030 will become $1 trillion by 2030. $1 trillion. Foreign direct investment in agriculture in Africa today is roughly about $10 billion. That is going to grow to $45 billion by the year 2020. So clearly, this is the sector that we must pay a lot of attention to. To ensure this, the President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, 3 years ago, decided to unlock the potential of agriculture. Mr. President made a very conscious decision to refocus this sector and to end decades of government domination.
Another area in which Nigerians have benefited immensely from the President Jonathan transformation agenda is the transport sector. At least 2,000 kilometers of road were either built or rehabilitated in 2013 alone, the highest in a single year by any government in Nigeria.
I'm happy to say that the Federal Ministry of Works has made momentous improvement on the rehabilitation, reconstruction and expansion of the federal highway network. Thus far, we have completed about 62 road projects and have recorded impressive progress on many more. And to paint the picture of what I'm talking about, as at 2011, we have a little over 4,000 kilometers of road that you could describe as being in fair condition. But 3 years on, today we have about 25,000 kilometers of federal road in fair condition. In general, about 70% of our road network is non-motorable. Match that with the about 16% we inherited in 2011. You will see that we have really done very well as far as the road sector is concerned.
Commercially significant roads like the Oshodi-Apapa Expressway, the Lagos-Ibadan Road, the Kano-Maiduguri, Abuja-Lokoja and many others, complete with critical link bridges constructed across the length and breadth of the country. Work is ongoing on the controversial East-West Road and the highly clamored for Second Niger Bridge. For the first time in Nigeria's history, an aviation master plan has been developed and has been implemented. At least 22 federal airports are being remodeled, while the trains are running again after almost 2 decades. The obvious implication of all these is a marked improvement in the movement of passengers, goods and services, and consequently a significant improvement in commerce. No wonder Nigeria emerged Africa's largest economy after the last rebasing.
When we came on board, Mr. President told us, under the transformation program, that all sectors that were hitherto jinxed must be brought back to life. He specifically charged us to ensure that we deliver results and not just to be shouting in the nation and not just to be making rhetorics. We must work hard, perform, and deliver. And Nigerians must practically see these deliveries. They must practically feel these deliveries. And therefore we thought and felt that that was a very big challenge, and we must really do all that we can to ensure that we do that Mr. President has directed, because that has been his desire, that has been his dream, and we must work hard to ensure that we achieve these dreams and desires. And that is why we said to ourselves that we must give ourselves sleepless nights to ensure that, one, we rehabilitate the existing narrow gauge rail lines, and to continue to pursue the modernization of the Nigerian railway in accordance with our strategic planning in revamping the Nigerian railway system. Of course, you are quite aware that for more than decades, Nigerians have not seen these railways back on track. Today, I'm happy that that has been achieved.
Nigeria can, will, and should thrive in an uncertain global environment. If we all come together to implement the strategies we talked about, we can do it. It will be painful. It will not be easy. The pain should be borne by those who are better off in society, not by the poor. But we will be able to do it. And we will not stop from assuring Nigerians that we have a strategy to move forward.
Despite the security challenges in the northeastern part of the country, available statistics show that Nigerians are better off today than they were before the advent of the Goodluck Jonathan government, and the figures are indisputable. Per capita income, which was $1,091 before the advent of President Goodluck Jonathan, now stands at $2,800, while inflation has reduced from 15% to 8%. World Bank figures show that poverty rate has reduced by over half from 62.2%, while food import has reduced from 1.4 trillion naira to 700 billion. Here now are some of the other verifiable figures. That's our package on this edition of Jonathan, Work in Progress, which highlights and celebrates the cogent and verifiable success stories of the Goodluck Jonathan transformation agenda. As you have seen, it's another overview of the plethora of reasons we have to celebrate President Jonathan. As they say, one good turn deserves another.